Alright guys, self-defense situation. Never cross your feet. Number one, build from the bottom up. So if I'm moving, step forward, bring the back foot. If I need to step back, well, all I'm gonna do is bring that back foot back. That way I have balance. If I'm doing this whole thing, or this whole thing, or this whole thing, you lose balance. You can get knocked out that way. Keep your feet apart and gives you kind of the stable means, right? Stable means. So if I need to go this direction, take a step. Need to go this direction, take a step. My feet should always be the same. Right? Don't hesitate, like I just did. Right? So once you have that, just work on the footing for 30, 40 minutes. Don't throw any punches. Just work on, right? You need to move, to the side. Now when it comes to punching, one thing to remember, something that I'm horrible with, is putting my body, hips, remember, work your way from the bottom up. So your feet need to be set. You need to be able to move. Now, next thing is your hips. Your knees, maybe keep them bent a little bit. Don't keep them straight like this. So your knees, maybe next. After your knees are kind of bent, you don't have to, just kind of nice and loose, right? The next is your hips, core. Power is where you get your power from. One thing that I've always done horribly is when I'm throwing punches, I'm just doing this whole thing. See how I turn my foot. The foot kind of helps me to remember that my hips need to turn, right? So when I'm throwing that punch, right, I'm taking a step. It's like as if my front foot is attached to my front hand, like that. Now that I have that, when you step, kind of pivot your foot in so that you're getting more power. And also, that's just my jab, which is the closest thing, has less power. But I can do that, right? I can turn. See that? That's kind of what I'm doing. So I'm getting my hips in there. I get more power with my jab. With my cross, which all it is my power hand, you don't ever, okay, well, you can. I can switch it up. So I can move, I can do any different, I can do southpaw, I can do whatever. So I'm left-handed, so I need this hand back here for maximum power. My right hand's to throw the jabs, right? Throw the jabs like that. Left hand, I need maximum power. I'm still turning my hips once again. Turning my hips. Also my back foot is also work on this. That's also going to give you a little bit of power. Your foot, your hips, and your hand are going to give you power. And what I don't want to be doing is I'm throwing that cross, because I don't want to be cocking back and then throwing the punch, because they can see that a mile away. So what I don't want to do in that situation, my power hand, whether it's for you guys out here who are right-handed, I want to be able to go straight, right? So here, I'll show you guys, since most of you guys are right-handed, right? Keep your elbows in. You don't want to have your hands out like this. Another bad habit that I do sometimes. Hands in, right? Right? So that back foot just turned. So when and what I don't ever really want to be doing, I'm in self-defense situations, you don't want to stay in the same level, which means this. Because you're a straight shot. Even if you have your hand right here to block, you still have a better chance of still getting hit in the face. So in that situation, once again, not telegraphing, not this or this. It's just allow your hips to throw your punch, your core. Boom. Then see how my head's offline from the target. So I'm not doing this. I'm doing this. Therefore, better chance of hitting him, more reach, and also my head's not going to get punched. His hand might sail past if I'm like that, right? So, me, I'm left-handed. You know, I'm going to, right? That's what I'm going to do. Once again, not telegraphing. It's easy to do this whole thing. Cock, back, throw the punch. You don't want to do that. So, even if I'm throwing, say, a hook, if I'm throwing a hook, which is just across the face, some people do this, some people do this. It doesn't really matter as long as you're able to get that punch off, right? If I'm about here, what I'm tempted to do, is very tempting, is pull back here and throw the punch. Very easy to do that. So in that situation, is throw it. I'm gonna show up a little closer. You can still get a good shot off. Not maximum power. You can still get that shot off. Boom, right? And you're in close. Just a quick, right here can send his head, send his head careening. So in that situation, what you'd want to do is just throw that punch, and therefore that gives you an opportunity to be able to come back up, throw the punch. And all you're going to do is just switching hands face to face. So if I'm throwing any kind of punch, one hand's going to be back to protect my face. Last line defense. Not like this, what I learned in karate. Like that. Better have your hand up here, right? So once again, if I'm moving, and once again, you're going to get your hips in position to attack, right? So if someone's throwing a punch at me because they're drunk and belligerent, they're attacking me, they're going to be doing this whole thing. Therefore, it gives me opportunity maybe to come in and then throw a punch. I didn't even telegraph. Once again, what I can do is I can step, block, and then bring it in. He's not going to see that coming, by the way. Even if I do telegraph it a little bit, like where I clock back for maximum power, he's untrained. He doesn't know what he's doing. So I could literally dip and then come up with a punch, right? Come up with a punch, whether it's this, or step on the side. But being able to get maximum power, use your body. This is what's going to define your punch. But if you're doing this whole thing, you have no core. You have no core right there. But winding up, see, I'm still protected in this position. My feet aren't crossing, right? I can throw a multitude of punches from here. But from here, now I can wind up. See, from here, I'm already wound up. All I can do is just let that punch go, right? So, those you guys, I can maybe come down, right? Come down and throw that punch. But just throwing it from here to here, I'm not gonna have as much power. You know, I'm not gonna have that much power. But you want to be able to use your hips. Use your hips to get power. You don't need to be doing a bunch of, fancy stuff. Some people do fancy stuff, whatever, where they're throwing all kinds of stuff, whatever. Just the basics. You're not in a boxing match. You want to be able to just be able to throw punches, right, like that. You don't want to be sitting there doing this rock'em sock'em robots like the 90s, right? You want to be able to just stay offline and throw that power, throw that power, get that power. It depends on how you want to throw the punch. There's no right or wrong way. No one's going to stop you in the middle of a self-defense situation and say, hey, you didn't throw that punch right. You just need to know the basics. You know, the cover up, move back, and then blast them, right? But it's all about the hips. The hips, right? even when throwing kicks, right? You don't want to be doing this because you have no power. You want to be able to throw those hips into it, depending on how you want to throw it. Some people throw it like this, maybe karate style, Muay Thai. They bring one back, but kicking, yeah, throwing punches, you know. But just keep yourself in a very moderate position, excuse me, and move, move. See how I'm not. I'm just going from here to here, right? That's all I'm doing. I'm moving. I'm moving. Telegraphing is hard, even for me. I even seen like professional boxing matches where the boxers are getting tired, like Anthony Joshua, his last fight. I mean, I saw he was crocking arms back. So it's very hard to not telegraph. But in the beginning, at least you don't want to be telegraphing. We both have energy. So what you want to be doing is not telegraphing as much as possible. As the fight wears on and start to drop, you start to get tired like I am now, if your hands are dropped, boom. As much as possible. Practice keeping your hands up where, you know, you can at least ward off any kind of blows, but your best opportunity is to block and counter at the exact same time. So if I'm moving, right? Get out from the side.